Welcome
Okay.
back to Spearfactor. Today, his guest is Greg Evans. Greg and I met actually in Guam. He was sailing the Pacific, and he came over for dinner at a friend's house, Dr. Orr, and then we just kind of chatted, and then you reached out to me, and I was like, I wonder what happened to that guy, and then you reached out, and then so you sent me those videos. What are you doing now in Canada?
I'm just making money, just working. I'm a pipe fitter. I'm a steam fitter, they call it, and we just build things that sometimes I go all over the world building mines, building just heavy industrial pipe stuff. That's like what I do. And right now we're building a pipeline from north, like western BC, northeast BC to the coast. So it'll supply, it's like sounds bad pipelines, but hopefully they can start shipping liquefied natural gas to Asia, and it'll hopefully like shut down all the coal plants, right? Like that's
Yeah.
what they're trying to do. Like all those coal generators that like Asia burns, they're just really inefficient and bad for the environment. And this is better for the environment. I don't know how good it is, but it's still uh
Yeah, oddly enough, I was just at like the second largest coal plant um, last week, just
mm,
because I my relatives live in the area and the work one of them works there at the power
yeah.
plant. And yeah, it was interesting. They shut one of them down, and then so this one is the number two in the country. I was like, man, I wouldn't want to work there because you just know it's inevitable, you know. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's pretty
Black
wild
lung.
seeing all that. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So really quick. Um, how going back to the beginning, like how did you end up sailing the Pacific?
I I probably I did this kind of work, so it was always just work really hard until the project's done, and then you just like burn yourself out. And I started traveling and surfing, really into snowboarding and everything. And then I started surfing, and like that's the ultimate way to travel, right? You go somewhere beautiful and you're doing something every day. You're not just like lazing around a pool or drinking, or you're like up in the morning giving her, right? And then that just progressed to like seeing guys spearfish, or like we were in South Africa, and a mutual friend. I have a very good friend that's from South Africa. He's Canadian, and we went down and saw all his family. And then just these guys owned a dive shop, and it was just like we went in, and they're just it's so cheap, like comparative, and it's not like the best stuff, but this guy just like kitted us out with like wetsuits and dive masks. And I was like, from then on, we'd go, and that's a wild coast. Like I didn't realize it just, all the stars aligned. I just started meeting these, and I was, excited about, it was probably 22, 21, just like, just found out about the ocean. I'm from like the middle of Canada, right? Like, and I just was like, this is insane. Like how like diving is the best thing ever. Like I try to explain it to people like spearfishing, and you're just, if you're not um like shooting fish, you're still just like practicing and like going down, and you're like flying over the mountains, and you know what I mean? If you think about it, you're like, just like, that's how I explain it. Like there's always something to look at, and you're always seeing cool things. And yeah, so from there, went to, still part on this surf trip, went to Western Australia, and I got linked up with some, like they're still the best, some of the best divers I know. Like you, we would know a guy, and I just kind of ran the boat. Like I would go out with them, and because it was crazy, some of the stuff. They're still crazy. Like they're burlying up in like great white areas, like shooting these big snapper, and I'm just like off the boat, like watching them, like whoa, like they're pulling in huge pink snapper. And that was a guy, two brothers named Christian and Bjorn Bjorseth, and they were friends with, like, Andre Reruka. Like,
I think I know of him, but I don't know him personally.
yeah, he was in that video, A Journey Beneath. I think I was listening to that Trek.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, he's one of the main characters, and he's a good. And then like I just remember like that's the caliber of divers that I was like in. We're just like running the boat for almost, I jump in every once in a while, but you're kind of like you're immersed with them, and then just kind of just took it from there. Just was like I'm shore diving all the time, and in WA and Western Australia is the mecca if you've ever been there. Like it is probably the best diving in the world, I would
I have
think.
heard from a friend of mine that mentored me in the early 90s. He was there and he told me some crazy stories, just so full of life. And then if you look at a map and you look at the population, it's the same thing. It's like there's just nobody there.
Mhm.
Like there's nobody there. And where, okay, so going back to South Africa, where in South Africa were you?
Down like Cape Town, and then we traveled up to like these small towns like Arniston. They had a cabin there, and then Neisna, I think there's like a little. I didn't do much spearing there, but just diving and surfing, and like some guys just like hooked us up. And then the main where I really got addicted was Western Australia. So I lived there for a year and a bit, like just and I was working same kind of thing in the mines and tinkering around. Is good. There was a lot of work over there when I went over. And I didn't want to get a job in the mines, but then like just turned out that was the easiest way to get a job. Like, no
Yeah.
one loves doing industrial construction, and like I had the skills, and it was funny. I was like trying to get a job at like a coffee shop or something like in town. It was like so hard, and then you'll get a mine for triple the money and phones and trucks, and you're like, well, this is what I do, I guess. So, and it pays well, and then you can fund the spearfishing trips. Like we went up, I built up a van and took it up to Carnarvon area. It's called, and it's called Red Bluff, and that's where that big left-hander is, and like
Yes, I know
Jake's
you're talking
Point,
about.
and it is like every night you're just like fishing for squid. It's so fun, right? Like you ever done that? Like it is so fun.
Oh
And
yeah.
then diving right off. Like I remember, like there's just those huge Goliath grouper, like just they're ready to eat you there, and they're shallow. You're just like diving near this thing, it like pokes its head out of a hole, and you're like, ooh. You don't shoot them ever, right? Because like I think they're protected, and you would never do that. I would never do that. Yeah. And then, but yeah, there's big sharks too. I remember like seeing some proper tiger sharks there, and
Yeah,
kind of,
that's
I
what my
think,
friend told me too about the tigers and bronze whalers. Um,
yeah.
he goes, yeah, he jumped in on a bait ball and this like 10-foot tiger swam between his legs.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy watching him swim towards this bait ball was filming him or something. Like I don't forgot how they were doing because he was convinced that he was going to never come back because it's just so wild. He was going to swim out there and get eaten by a shark. And my buddy, like, yeah, whatever, who cares? And he went for it. And then he's like, then a giant, like a 10-foot tiger darted between his legs. He like kicked his legs and it came at him through the bait ball. Yeah. But he said it's
Yeah.
just wild. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's called the Ningaloo Reef. It is the Ningaloo Reef. And it is just, it goes way up, right? And I think the current it's super clear. Like, the Great Barrier and when you're part of those big reef systems, like say Fiji or somewhere, and there's no current, it's very murky, the water. And it's not as good. But the Ningaloo Reef is for some reason clear, and there's so much life. And yeah, I just shore dive and like, just mission out there, and still surf too. But yeah, I just surf when there wasn't a million people out or all the pros were out, just kind of like go dive in and then go surf in the middle of the day. That's kind of what I
Where,
always did. Just
yeah, where did you get into surfing at, being that you're from the middle of Canada? Were you like at Vancouver Island or something?
no, some guy in the camp, like we're camp, he just told me, he's like, and I just wanted to learn, and just was always like a
Yeah.
skimboarder and a wakeboarder and everything. And then he then flew down to Costa Rica and Nicaragua, did like a 4-month trip. just, backpacking through and just surfed. Like, it was awesome. And that's a good spot too. Like El Salvador, like all those places, you just cheap,
Right.
fun hostels, and you just, every day just surf and surf and like as long as you're,
Yeah, Nicaragua was fun. It was offshores all day long, so you didn't have to worry about getting blown out. You just surf 6-8 hours a day. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
I'm just so many questions because like couple of questions because I like the spots you're talking about going places I'm like kind of dreamed of as far as Western Oz, right? Because you kind of need a good. I mean, I guess you just go, but when you talked about the reef when there's no current, because I've dove in Fiji before and in my honeymoon and stuff, but when you said the viz is bad, why is that? Because in other places, usually when there's not a lot of current, everything kind of settles. There's not stuff getting turned up as long as there's not wind. Why is that on those reef systems?
I think with the bigger the reef system, from what I saw, the more it's like the pollination or like it's sending out their seed, right? And it's warm, and it might just be the time of year. I don't know, but I've heard that, and you can see it in videos too, right? Like the Great Bear is not the best diver. Like it's kind of dirty, and whatever. If it all depends what you want. Like if you want 150-foot viz, but it's always nicer diving in crystal clean water, and I think it's because of that. I think it's sending off like pollination and that's what and then the currents don't take it away, I guess. Or there's just such a huge reef system that there's so much of it, and it's like warmer but yeah, Western Oz is still, it's probably colder than like that north side of like east side of Aussie too, right? It gets that cold current from the Indian Ocean coming up, and it was cold.
Those,
like you had to wear a wetsuit.
Yeah, I figure. And then what kind of fish were you guys shooting up at the up in were you way up
Like
north in Western Oz, like, or were you down more by like Perth, but even more south where the surf,
it, like Margaret River where the big waves are. We'd go there too. That was nuts. Like I remember, I think my first time spearing was we came in and then these guys were talking to us like one of the first like trips, and the guy's like, you guys were out there spearing, and it's just like great white shark alley. Like that's where they like we didn't see any. I didn't see any, but they're like, dudes, this is like southwest Aussie, and it was near like a place called Albany. I'm like, there's so many fish. Like it's crazy, right? Like just like big. Yeah, it's awesome. I can't remember there's some kind of like black group.
And the water's pretty clear
north,
there
you get
too,
like
huh?
tusk fish.
Yeah,
And
there's the blue
big. The other, like the good guys were shooting snappers and stuff. You gotta be. I wasn't good. I wasn't like hiding then. I got quite a bit better on the boat, but this is always just learning, right? And tusk are easy to shoot. Parrots and what else? Like big mackies would come through, and I guess they call them king. They're Spanish
king mackerels. Yeah, Spanish mackerels and king mackerels. Did you notice the visibility being super clear down there by Margaret River?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's clear. Well, it was.
Yeah. I just heard about the sharks too, like, and then I went down to South Oz, and you're like, dude, there is nothing here. I was like, no wonder why everything's thriving. There's just nothing here to interrupt that food chain. It's spooky, and there's help like
dark.
nowhere. Yeah.
And it's dark water and scary. Yeah, it's scary. And like just rugged cliffs like into the water. Yeah. I drove across the Nullarbor there and then stopped at, I think it was Black's, that surf wave. And it's creepy. There's good waves though, like super good waves, and it's pretty empty, right? Like if I didn't do much spearing there, I went out once, and a guy told me just not to do it. He's like, you're rolling the dice, man. Like I wouldn't do it, and he's a local, and I'm like, good stuff. Like I'll eat rotisserie chickens from here for the next little stretch here. No need, it was awesome though. Like when you're like obviously in a van and you're cheap and like up north, you're just like shooting lots of trout, eh? Like trout are easy to shoot once you start learning how to dive and find them and they're the best. I think they're the best fish to eat for sure. They're one of the best. Like you can't go wrong with a coral trout. And yeah, so, but that South Oz did not spear much. I was by myself then too. I wasn't with like a group of guys, but we would go down from Perth with like a group of guys and go spearing. Our neighbor had a farm and we'd like shack up there and go shoot kangaroos. And it was crazy. It was like such an Aussie experience. Like I just met these guys, right? And we were young and just getting after it. It was good. Like sparked this like adventure side in me for sure.
Love it.
It was good.
Yeah, no, were you weren't married at the time or?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's funny how dudes will go surf and then they'll be like, oh, you shouldn't dive, but they'll surf.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of the same. Like I understand why you say it, because I feel like when we're diving, we're spending 3 hours. We're kind of in the diving those drop offs, right? In the kill zone, I call it. Surfing is a little similar to that though. But yeah, it's like we just don't dive. I've run into that a few times too. And I listen.
Yeah. I think he didn't want me probably burlying up the water, on the back of the reef, because you do fire the system up. Like when you go and click a fish, like it can turn the water into, you know what I mean? Like calm, like natural.
Absolutely.
And then you just go shoot a big trout that turns into a hole and it's bleeding and, just everything's fired up and, sharks just start snooping around. Like, yeah. So he probably didn't want me, on the back of the reef bringing sharks in. I was like, yeah, fair enough. And I get it. It was a known area for whites.
I don't blame him. Right.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, how many times did it happen? Even when you look around, you don't see a shark. You shoot one fish and they come out of the woodwork, especially in those coral tropical places. And they're coming in hot,
Oh yeah. In Polynesia, like such hard spearing there, right? Because the divers are so good. And we were like, I think it's Fakarava Atoll, like where all those marble grouper spawn, is a really known spot. And we're doing the past dives, right? And I was just like, I was like, watch this. You just click your gun, just click, and there would be 10 sharks, like just right at your fins, just barreling in. You're like, the little grays, like maybe 4 or 5 foot, but still they're worse. They're the worst. They'll kill you.
100%.
Like, for sure.
No, I have pictures on the footage of like literally a 2 foot long gray going ape shit on my buddy and I, like coming at us, biting his fins, coming to I'm like, and people are like, oh, it's comical. I'm like, that thing will still sever an artery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, it's always scary dive or like when you shoot something big there and then it's blood. Like when you hit the gills or something, and then there's so much blood in the water and then you can't see. You're like, I always, in those areas, my float line, because I was usually by myself, my float line was usually attached to the dinghy, right? Like the dinghy it was like 11.5 foot rib. It was sick with a 30 horse Yamaha. And then it was good. 2-stroke. And then when we'd pass dive, I'd just like pull up the outboard, flasher would fly off the front. And then I'd just have that, like you'd shoot a dogtooth, you just like watch your dinghy be taken off when you're coming up. It was awesome. Like being towed around by those big fish. You're just like, sometimes you wouldn't get them, right? Cause like you put too much, I think, pressure against them. Yeah. And then it would blow, which would suck, but the sharks would get them pretty fast. So You
Yeah,
can see
well,
it.
let's jump into this. Hold on. So
Yeah.
you started obviously in the wintertime, I'm assuming in Canada, you can't do much pipe fitting. Um, and then so
Oh
you,
yeah.
yeah. So how did you, I mean, did you have this like a routine, like a ritual every off season? You just would take off and go and travel, or like every other, or
Uh, I think it was more just you kind of work the jobs, finish the job, right? Like sometimes there's dry spells when the oil turns or this, or when the mill's building a turbine, or you know, you would just finish the job and then just not take another one, kind of thing, and then just go. So it wasn't like specific seasons. This is more seasonal what I'm doing now because it gets so muddy when it's called spring breakup. So we get so much snow, then the logging road and then the logging roads are all frozen, so we can get in. Like we're sometimes driving. Like I'm definitely like 150 kilometers of logging roads to get to where we're like doing the welds or doing this or and it moves, right? It moves. Obviously, we're building a pipeline, so you're not just in one area. This one, but then when the snow comes, so like usually March, and it melts, it just makes it so muddy, and then everything just gets stuck, or you can't move the heavy machinery, and so it just shuts down, and it's just so hard on everything. So yeah, then you'd go and do some. That's what I'm planning. I want to do now. I want to go down to Mexico, go down to the Baja um, when this job's done, and take the fifth wheel and get some adventures going again. It's been a little bit of a. I have two little children now, like a 3-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. So kind of like had to like settle down a bit and give them a bit of structure and stuff. So, but now I kind of want to ignite some, you know, some adventure
I
into them.
understand.
Yeah,
No, I just
yeah,
finished talking to a friend of mine about that exact same thing. Um, yeah, it's good for him. You're just kind of a
yeah,
slave to the schedule of their schedule for school and all that stuff or whatever it is.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
but fortunately nowadays everybody's like homeschooling and all this stuff. You have options, so it's kind of
yeah,
nice. Um,
yeah.
so how when did you first start going to the South Pacific and like you're talking about shooting doggies and stuff? How'd that come about?
That was, I think, the first like time I ever dove was in Fiji, like the proper South Pacific. Like I was flying back from Aussie, stopped in Fiji for 2 weeks, surfed. Obviously, it's so good, and that's where I met some dudes from California that had a sailboat, and they were living like Cloud Break's got this like sand patch where you can just anchor right beside it. Like it's so sick. And then you're right on the outer reef there. Like Cloud Break's pretty far, right, from the land. Like all those, you either got to stay like Tabarua or I think it's called Tabarua, yeah, or one of those
Namotu.
islands.
Yeah, I've been
Namotu,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty
And
special place.
oh, I got some videos of like our boat was called Oceana, and it was like we're like anchored probably 20 feet from Namotu, just like and you got your own dinghy, and I don't know how much Namotu is to stay at night, but it'd be expensive. But yeah, these guys were there, and I was talking to them, and we surfed together, and I'd go out, and I was just like, I am buying a sailboat for sure, and doing this. So then I went back, like that was like the mecca when I met those guys, and they were telling me, yeah, and so and I'm like, I'm coming back here too, for sure. Like, this is insane that you can do this. So, yeah, I went back to Canada, worked a lot up north again, just got some jobs and worked, and bought. And then that's when I met um, my wife now, or partner. Not married yet, but we've been together for a long time. And yeah, I met her up. She's from like the middle of Canada, from Saskatchewan, and on like from a farm. And I don't know if she actually believed me or something. But I'm like, I'm buying a sailboat like soon, and gonna. And that's a mission. That was a hard thing to do for sure. Like to
Well, I want
get
to talk to you
going.
about that. Let's
Yeah,
Can you discuss that in detail? Because here
yeah.
you are, you
Um,
know very little. And then, I mean, relatively speaking, and then like, I'm going to buy a sailboat. Where the hell do you look to even buy a sailboat? Like, what year was this? I guess this was
Yeah,
2010 or
maybe
what?
no, it would have been like 2013, I think.
Okay.
2013, I'd probably 2012. I was like heavy into looking, right? Like I was just like in these camps, like reading other. This was before all the YouTube sailors too, right? Like this was pre blow up of like every couple having a YouTube channel on sailing for sure. But there was just still, you know what I mean? Like
I know
there was
exactly what you mean.
still like,
Hey, good on them. They're making it work. Damn. Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
No, I just
Oh,
said good on
I
them. I mean,
lost.
they're making it work, but yeah, I totally know what you mean. Everybody and their wife has if they're sailing, they're vlogging it or something.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I lost you a bit there, but I'm just should be good. Um, yeah, no, it was, but there was lots of like written blogs and lots of information on boats, and then yeah, just I just pulled the trigger. I didn't even go and see Oceania. Like some broker just talked me through it, and he's like, he could have sold me. He was a good guy. He was like, if you want to do this, this is a good boat. It's a little bit more than you like wanted to spend, but if you just put the like time and effort in, and Oceania was left sitting for like 2 years. Some guy, it was beat up, but yeah, I'm a tradie and just worked pretty hard on it. Worked hard on it for like 3 months, and it was a good boat. It was like a Lagoon 410, 1999, so it was a 41-foot cat, um, and it was just like 2 years into they like remodeled them and they made them look like that cool fly bridge. Like that's when, and so it was like a modern looking cat. Before they were weird looking, and they you could tell like they but now I think 1997 they started to make them really modern and like less. It was still a performance like fast boat, and it was like it wasn't like a racing sailboat, but it was still fast. Like it still had sleek hulls, and like now they're big tubs, right? They're big fat things for living at anchorage, like because that's what you do 99% of the time, right? You're just like sail to a spot and stay there for 6 months. Um, so they're definitely like less sailing performance now, but I didn't care about that. I didn't care about sailing. I just wanted to go and surf and spear, and sailing was cool, but I wasn't like I showed up with like there's sailors out there, right? That you're like
Yeah, they got
keep your fuel.
gloves on and vest and
Yeah,
like boating shoes and like super intense. You're like, great. I just want to get in the water.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
totally know what you're talking about. Where was the boat at when you found it?
Wilmington, North Carolina. So it was just at this dock, and we just got like super lucky. It was funny because it is like one of my favorite stories. I like drove like a 1989 Toyota pickup down there with a bowler on the back, Casey and I, and we were gonna fix it up. And like I almost didn't even get let in the States because I had like tools, and I told the guy I had no job, and because I was like, oh, I'm going, and that just makes it look like you're going down to the States to work, right? And he's like, by all accounts, I should not let you in, but you seem to like, I don't think you're lying. Like you're gonna fix this boat and bring it, like sail it away. But I was like, he's like, yeah, I had this, $200,000 boat just sitting there, and I almost didn't even get let in the country. I didn't
That's
even see it. We
hilarious.
didn't see it. Yeah.
That's funny considering everything else going on nowadays, with our
Yeah.
borders and everything else. Should just walked in, been easier. No. Very cool though. I mean, that's good that you had that skill and then you were able to, when you went down there to fix it up, you said it took 3 months. Um, were you staying in like a hotel or what, just like camping and just trying to like get some stuff done? Did you know what to expect when you got there?
No. I was just, I think ignorance was bliss on that, right? Like I think I got, first of all, I got pretty lucky that it wasn't in that bad of a shape. But I had a surveyor go through it. Like I hired a third-party surveyor that I just found through like a Reddit, and this guy's like, oh, this guy's trustworthy, and he took it out on a sea trial. He gave me a full report before all the money got transferred, and he said, yeah, you're gonna need to like work, and you got to change all the through hulls, and like those things got like 14 through hulls, and just the main thing was like keep the water out of the boat. So it was like, you don't need new sails or you don't need new rigging. You got to make sure that hull's structurally good and everything's good below water. And I remember that, like, when you're in a boatyard, there's so much help. There's so many people that'll give you advice, especially if you're like young and you got this spark, right? Like they're more than willing to share their information and share where to get the parts, where to get this. And we had this one friend, Menno, and he had the same boat pretty much, and he was fixing it up, and he would just like tell me to do things. And he was really cool. He had sailed with his wife when they were young. Then he had sailed with his kids when they were young, like, you know, came back, did another 3-year trip through the Caribbean. Then now he's like retired. His kids are at a university, and then he's doing another one, setting up a Lagoon 380. And so he was just like a wealth of information. This is what you need. This is what you need. This is what you need. And yeah, there was lots of that. And yeah, we were staying in the boatyard, just living on the boat, just fix up an area on the boat. The boat wasn't too bad. And we had a little camper too. But yeah, just fixed up the boat, and it was good to him too, because he'd tell me to do something and I would do it, right? Like I would fix, and he would come back like the next week, and then the boat was good. And luckily in that time too, I met a young guy, same age as me, and I was in the marina office, and there you weren't supposed to live on your boat and work on it. Like they weren't like they call it like live aboard area. It was like that. They didn't advertise that. And marinas do that just so it doesn't become like a big trailer park, right? Like, but it's usually, if you're international, they let you do it because they know you're not going to just like set up and put tarps all over your boat and, you know, like look like a shanty. And so I went to go ask him. I was like, can someone drive this thing up to the boatyard where I can live on it? Like the marina manager, like, do you know a captain? Because I'm like, that thing is huge. And I am like, I am not driving that through this marina. Like, you know what? I'm like, I'm not going to learn how to do this. Like, and then this young kid my age, he was sitting outside and he was like, listen, and he goes, bro, he's like, did you buy that boat and not know how to sail it? Like not know anything? And I was like, and you know, I had like BC plates, like a 1999 Toyota pickup, like down there by it. And he's like, this is sweet. And yeah, his name's Logan. And he's got a big, like, he was a big sailor, and he'd done wild trips down the Bahamas and owns a sailing school in New York. And we're just like, we're still good friends, like best buddies. So it's cool. And he showed us the ropes. He was more excited. He wanted to buy that boat, but it was just, you know, not in the cards for him. And he's like, this thing's sick. So he just also showed me how to do it. And he was in the middle of fixing his boat, and then they were going to sail down to the Bahamas. And he's like, you should come with us. Just, you know, 3-day offshore trip, and you're just going to learn so much. And we went offshore, and I was just like sick for 2 days. And I was like, you know, from like seasick. And I'm like, oh my God, like, why did I do this? Yeah.
I had heard with seasick too, like guys at my old job, they would get seasick, and because it's your job, they're just keep going out, throwing up, keep going out, throwing up, and eventually you just get over it. You get used to it.
Yeah.
Like,
I got seasick. Yeah, still. I got seasick. Yeah. You'd learn how to get over it faster. Like you got to eat. But if we were in an calm anchorage for like 2 weeks or something, not moving, then we'd go out and it was rough. And there's you just wouldn't eat. You wouldn't want to feel like you were top notch. But yeah, within 6 hours, your body gets better. But most people aren't on the water long enough for their body to adjust.
Yeah, my boss had the record 17 times, I guess, for throwing up in one day. And then like eventually he just, I guess, going out every day for 8 hours, whatever it was, he just got used to it. I'm like, dude, that's
Yeah.
dangerous.
Well, you'd meet guy. I remember meeting a guy that he sunk his boat in Tonga, and he'd be like, I would just take a bunch of seasickness pills and just go sleep. And I'm like, he'd sleep for 2-3 days on a passage. And I'm like, you wouldn't, like, I was like religious. Like, you go check every 20 minutes when you're off, or 30 minutes. Cause like one of those big ships will be on you fast, right? Like they're moving 20, 30 knots. And, they wouldn't even know they hit you. Like they're so, well, you know them. They're so huge, right? Those 900.
Yeah, I have heard stories about ships pulling in to Long Beach with the sailboat mast attached to the anchor, and the number, because it's on the sail, right? Like the number, and then realize those people were past due like 2 weeks or whatever it was. I'm like, dude, there's like a crew of like 6 people, I think, on those boats or something like that. Like, and then the other thing is, when we were at dinner, I think we were talking about this, Mike and I, about when he was sailing the Pacific, the spreadsheet of all the unmarked atolls or unmarked like seamounts, like coral reefs that just pop up out of nowhere. And he said there was like 200 of them just in his passage that they had. And the reason how he found out about it, because there's a website for like just kind of a blog for everybody doing that. And then they would just put the lat and longs down on this paper and update it. And he said there was like 200. I was like, that's terrifying. Because I mean, you've seen it and I've seen it. We're literally in the middle of the ocean. And then all of a sudden you see the bottom and you're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Like there's a place called Beveridge Reef and it is insane. Like it's probably 200 miles from Niue, like east of Niue, in the middle of the Pacific. And it's on the charts, but it's just like 2 miles off, like wrong lat and long, right? So on your like Navionics. And I remember sailing there and like we got lucky. So we're sailing from Polynesia down to this, and a whole group of us, and the weather was going to be perfect. Like a big high pressure came and it was calm, like flat calm. And you can make it in those. It's not a full atoll. It's like it's an atoll, but no land on it. So you can anchor in there, and like we're sailing, and we get close. Always when you get close, you catch fish, right? Now we were like I was a heavy fisherman, like just dragging meat lines, I'd call them, and just like dragging, like, and like dragging flashers and dragging, and obviously when you get close, you're just like smashing fish, like all your lines blow up, like mahi, wahoo, like tuna, and then you're only one guy, so you're really, Casey's there, but she doesn't really care, and you got to pull the sails down and fight this thing, and then I'm fighting this big, it must have been a tuna because it was down, and then I'd already got the wahoo in, like close. And so I'm just let the wahoo, they give up, right? They're just a big log by the end. So I just like get that thing sorted. It's just sitting on the back, and I'm fighting this tuna. And then I'm like looking at the ground, and I thought we were far, like I was not getting close. And I'm like starting to see I'm on the back steps of the boat, just fighting this fish. And I'm like, holy shit, the water is like so blue. And then it's like really light blue. And then, I'm like, and we were right on. Like if we kept sailing for another 5 minutes, we went straight into the reef. Like not even, like if I wasn't paying attention. And on the charts, we weren't even close to it, right? I was going like a big angled around. And so it was just like 2-3 miles off on the charts. And we would have been, and a big boat, a big catamaran, many boats get claimed by that reef because people go there and they think it's in the right, Navionics has it, because you get tricked, right? Navionics is so good in a few places, and then it's just, you can't trust it. Like, and so.
That's terrifying. Yeah. I watched I Shouldn't Be Alive. A guy had a giant, like 80-foot catamaran or something. And it was massive. Maybe it wasn't that big. And he took his family out and he ran straight into one of those reefs. And like horrible thing and all this stuff. And I forgot, they might have been off Tonga. But yeah, I was like, dude,
Minerva,
yeah, it's just stressful. I'm like, I would never sleep. Like I feel like I would be okay, but I don't want to put my kids and my wife in that situation because they'd be terrified. That'd suck. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but it is funny though how when you're talking about fishing, and when we were fishing the banks, when I don't know, we were fishing the offshore banks with the guys down there. Um, that water depth is so key to which species you're going to hit, and
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
literally like, okay, first it's the then wahoo, then this, like, and you can literally just set. It's almost like a depth sounder is what fish you
Yeah.
hook, and you just know it. It's pretty
Yeah.
wild, yeah.
Oh
But
yeah, we yeah.
yeah, it's just incredible how quick that those reefs come up.
Oh, and yeah, you always catch fish there too. Like that's it's like the desert. They call it the desert out in the middle of the ocean, right? You don't catch much. Maybe you get a wahoo every now and then in the early morning. You make sure your bait's in at 5 in the morning and make sure your lines are out. But we never fished at night either. It's just dangerous. And, but yeah, like when you're dragging lines and you always catch wahoo. But then like I remember our first sail when we sailed from Galapagos to Polynesia. You come up to this place called Fatu Hiva, and it's scary, right? Because you haven't seen land for 20 days, and you start. So then, yeah, there's nothing to hit, right? It's kind of nice being out there. It's like you're in the desert, and then you're sailing, and then I'm looking at this chart, and it was like perfect timing. We're coming in, and it's like 5 in the morning. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're gonna hit some fish here for sure. And there's a rock. I'll send you the link, the pin on this rock outside of Fatu Hiva. So it's just like a desert ocean. Then it just the seamount just comes straight from I don't even know what depth, but there's a rock out way out there. And it was like right in my path. And Casey gets up and she's looking at the charts and I didn't tell her, but I'm like, we're going straight for this rock, right? Like I'm like, we're going to go near the seamount, like just drag the lines by. And I'm seeing it. I can see it, but it's still scary. Like probably should have taken a bit more of a like path away from it, but I'm like, we got to go by it where it just juts up from like 10,000 feet to a rock, right? There's going to be fish. All the lines out. I got one fish in, and then I got spooled. Like 3 rods just got spooled with all these tuna. Definitely tuna. They're so fighting. And then I got one probably 50-pound yellowfin in, and like so sick, right? Because then you show up to an anchorage with like a heap of meat, and not too many people fished like that. Like not every sailor was like a hardcore fisherman, and then you show up and you're just having sashimi parties and
Yeah, you become real
tuna and
popular, huh?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was a good currency for sure. Being a Spearo, like people would just like we had some good older Australian friends that we just hit it off with, and he would like ask. He knew what fish were, and he's like, "Can you go get some octopus?" So just like, "Yep." Just go get octopus for him, and we'd have a dinner party, and you know, I loved it. He loved it.
That
Yeah.
sounds amazing. So, how big were the tuna? You say you got a 50-pounder. I mean, God, you see, I feel like you probably, with your experience now and being more experienced spearing, um, like for me, same kind of stuff. If you could go back in time to some of these places, you'd be like,
Oh,
oh, we're going to get some world records. We're going to slay this place.
yeah. Yeah.
I,
Like, yeah.
I imagine the shark situation was probably out of hand though too, but I'm surprised. Did you ever have problems landing fish with them? So many sharks and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Like those places like Minerva Reef or Beverage Reef, there's fish there. But when there's so many sharks and yeah, yeah. I didn't even I wasn't good enough then. I really got better like in the middle of that trip, like to be shooting big doggies and like I still wasn't even that good. It's not very hard to shoot a dogtooth. You just gotta embrace the chaos at the like you pull the trigger and it's gonna be fucking
That is beautiful. It's so true. It's like, holy shit, what did I just do? If
yeah.
people haven't
It's
shot a doggy, they don't understand. It's fucking chaos.
yeah, like and it's like it's not even the chaos of the fish going nuts, but you're in some 8 knot current getting swept out to sea, right? And if your float line gets wrapped up, or you're you're gonna be in a world of trouble. You just lose it. You just lose all your shit too, right? Like I remember shooting a doggy in Fiji. I didn't. We were out at this like crazy area where there were supposed to be the doggies. Didn't see it. Whatever, right? Okay, go into shore, and we're just so I grabbed the reel gun and I still had a float. I still had one of my fenders. I didn't have a high pressure float, and then this like just this hog comes in, maybe 30 feet of water, and just was like, and I was down there, and I was like, perfect shot, just nuke him, and just all my kit gone, everything, just didn't. It's like, and you have no chance. It's just gone. Like it's gone, disappeared, and you're like, fuck. Like it's like $500 worth of stuff, easy. You just see the float, just like huge buoy, right? Just gone. Like it's pretty cool to see, right? Just if they're not high pressure floats. So
I mean, it really makes you have an appreciation for those animals.
Yeah.
How big was that fish, you think?
Oh, definitely. It would have been 100 pounds for sure. It would have been in between 70 and 100 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
They get big there, eh? And like that northwestern Fiji, there's good doggies there. Yeah. Yeah. Mission to get there, though. You got to know the sailboat.
Right. I just think there's so much. I mean, that's why I was so excited to talk to you, because just going across the Pacific, you can look at Google Earth and see these spots in the middle of nowhere, and you can't fly to them. The only way to get there is to do like a 10-day trip on a sailboat or something. And I remember Mike saying something like, he goes, you looked in a hole and every single hole had a big ass grouper in it. He's like, you just literally like, and then if you shot one fish, it was over because 100 sharks would show up.
Yeah. I was thinking of good shark stories. Like,
I was going to say, go ahead.
That same place where that doggy took it. Like, me and my buddy were out, and he's pretty good, like waterman, like kiter and spearo, and it might have been 60, probably like a 60-foot drop or whatever. And I shot a nice coral trout. We were just getting fish. Right? We had our families, and I'm like, oh, let's go get some fish. Shot a good trout, and it was that place, in the reefs where there's like silt all over the bottom, and it like stirs up, like in some of those calmer areas where the reef is, like inside. And so this big trout just finds a hole and fucking kicks up all this dust everywhere. And then I was gassed, so I had to go up and get some air. And then I go back down to dig him out, and like it's murky and dusty still. And he's watching me, he said, because I had, breathe up like 2 minutes or something, like chill out. And then he just sees like 2 sharks like blow. I got hit by him too. Like I didn't know what it was because I'm digging this big ass trout out of the hole. And then, just smoked in the legs. I didn't get bit, but they don't even know what's going on. They're just fired up, right? This thing's like that vibration those fish send out, and like just fires the shark up, like fires those gray reef sharks, and they are so aggressive. Like, and luckily I got it. I don't know how I didn't get bit, but I didn't even really see him, right? Because I'm just like so focused and it's so dirty down there. But he was watching. He's like, dude, they were just like charging your fins and stuff. And I got the fish in. Everything was fine. They take off when you get near the surface. They usually back off, right? They're not as aggressive like they're. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. There's obviously, if you're spearing in good areas, there's sharks. Like, as
I think
knows.
Diving in those areas really did kind of confirm, and obviously it's dangerous and there's accidents that happen, but those sharks really do, man, they're so focused on fish. They don't give a shit about you. Like, having been hit by tails and stuff, and you're like, and then hearing stories from my friends of like chasing the shark and the fish is running towards you and the shark's running towards you and the shark like body checks you to go make a right-hand turn to go chase after and it's like, that thing really, if he wanted to bite you, he would have, but they're so focused on, especially those rainbow runners. I mean, good God, Um, what would you say, like, obviously, when you got to Guam, how long have you been sailing for when we had dinner?
Yeah, I was probably 5 years. We'd been living on the boat, so a long time.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you guys basically just sailed for 5 years on that boat
we stopped in New Zealand for a couple years. So yeah, we
and
did,
then
and
worked.
then yeah, yeah. I got a job. I have some. We build mines, and this like group of guys, and I went over to northwest Africa to a country called Mali, and built a gold mine for a year and made a good, just had to money up. It was nice having money, like, not being worried about the dinghy gas or burning. Like, some sailors were just like have a 2 horse and worried about buying gas or what, and each to their own, right? But I didn't mind charging out 10 miles on my dinghy and burning 40 liters of gas, like chasing fish or chasing surf or just getting after it for sure. Like I was more into that than not working and saving money and living the dream for 10 years. I'd rather like actually get after it and buy kiteboards and buy that stuff and do it than just like surf or yeah, just huddle on a sailboat. But yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
you
was
need
wondering
money to do it.
about was right. That's what I was wondering about how you were able to balance that because it's such a, I mean, your partner obviously is a trooper, so she kind of respects that too. I mean, I know guys that were going overseas for 6 months or a year, coming back, and then basically like paying cash for a house or whatever it was, or like you could totally do that. What you did. Um, I just was a little late in the game with the kids, but what would you say, like, so far as surfing goes? Because I'm interested in that too. Like, how was it
Yeah.
going to some of those atolls? There had to be just was there a ton of places that you're just like, what, like, not even on the
Yeah.
charts?
Yeah. Yeah. That wrong. I remember we showed up to wrong or Fakarava, that where that passes, and it's got a cook and left-hander there, and it's good. It was hard though. I kind of surfing's funny because you gotta like your anchorage, like diving. You can dive everywhere, right? That was why I think just took to free diving and spear and like because you just do it off the back of the boat. Like, but surfing, you're usually kind of far from the waves when you're finding these anchorages. There was some good spots. Like we got lucky and saw Chopu at probably 4 meters, and it was perfect. It was like the craziest thing I've ever seen for sure. Like that wave is, you can just sit in that channel and like where all those boats sit. That's why they get such good videos. And it's called like you sit in between like a secret right and the left, right?
I've been there.
And you,
Yeah. And that
yeah,
channel's not very big at all. That channel's like fucking
no,
small. I saw it like 10, like same thing, like 4 meters, and it was pretty stormy. And the whole time
yeah,
my butt was puckered because I was watching that
oh,
right and being like, and I think that wave, like, it doesn't do it justice because it truly does get vertical, and you're like, how would you take off? I mean, when I saw it was like that. But yeah,
yeah.
the right there.
It's crazy surfing those waves because you can't even get out. If you get drop in and get into that like slot, like you can't even like chicken out. Like you cannot carve up the wave. Like you can't. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah.
inverted. Like you can't even like. It's not like you're like some big mushy thing, and in I don't even.
So
Yeah, where
I
you can
I can
carve out.
totally I did a surf trip there in 2003 or 2005, and I can tell you, like, number one, going backside, you can't even judge the steepness of the wave because it's so clear, you just look through it. And these are things that I was pretty young. I hadn't traveled a lot surfing, but then taking off, you see
Oh yeah,
everything you're going to hit. Like, it's a fucking mind fuck. And you just, like, I made so many drops that I would never make here because I was so focused on the front of that board, just staring at
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
But exactly what you're saying though is that you go on those waves, and it was kind of similar in Guam too. A lot of times, like, and when it gets good, when you go, that's it. You're locked in. You can't
Yeah.
kick
Yeah.
out through it. I mean, the only thing that you can do is hopefully the foam ball kind of floats you across.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the other
Yeah.
thing with surfing, especially the type of what you were doing, is that spearfishing, okay, you might get bit by a shark. Yeah. But surfing, dude, those reefs are so sharp and so
Oh,
shallow. And if you
yeah.
get like staff or something out there, you jack yourself up bad out there, you're in for a
Yeah.
rude awakening.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
fucking
Yeah.
Tahiti, man. Oh,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
going. Just go.
It, in the Galapagos, there was some good waves, and I got dragged across like this volcanic rock. Just every bit of you just look like you've been dragged down, you know, the road behind a truck. Like, and you just touch it, you just thrashed, and you rips all your board shorts off. Like, it's crazy, right? You just like, what the fuck has happened? Like even in Tahiti, yeah. Like one time we all went out just up from Chopu. It was still pretty big, and there was like some second pulse we didn't know about, and we were on the inside. All these guys, and all like we took one set to the head, and all our boards were broken. Like we weren't. It was the foam ball. It wasn't even like it crashed already, and we just had to duck dive this like white water, and like all our boards were broken, and we were just swept out to sea because the currents are so strong, right? So once your board's broken, you're toast, and then because the waves are so big that they're all this water's on the reef washing, then the channel gets so currenty, it's all flowing out, and it just, luckily there was Casey was in the dinghy, and like she came and got us, because we would have been toast. Like, you anchor your dinghy on the side of the reef, right, and then you go surf, and yeah, we would have been fucked. Like,
Yeah,
just
my buddy was getting swept down the reef because we were at like the spot to the north where that big right comes through the middle, but it's a left and the up, kind of a couple spots up from Chopu. And
yeah,
yeah, and it was
it's
pretty
good.
big and stormy, but you're right. It's scary. As I said, first time I was like nervous because of the current. And then if you sit in the one spot, you're good. But you, like you said, if you lose that board and you get spat out or lagooned or something, like you either have like you can either get lagooned, like swim across the reef and get shredded, but at least you're in the lagoon, so you're not going to get lost at sea, which happened to me. I fucking tore the ligaments in my ankle, shredded my feet up, but I was like floating in the lagoon. I was like, well, I'm safe, I guess. Or you get swept down the reef and like never. It's bro, it's wild, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Those currents are scary.
yeah, those repasses, and you really want to dive the repass because I started when I tore my ligaments, I just started diving, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh, I want to dive the reef pass, but it's like a river when it's big, you know. Um,
yeah, yeah. You need a dinghy or a boat for sure, or
yeah.
someone picking you up. Yeah,
Fortunately, we had a guy come and get us, which was funny, but
yeah.
it was pretty nice. It was very humbling. What would you say,
Oh,
like, what would you say, like, with all this time sailing and stuff, if you could go back to like three places, what three places would you want to go to?
yeah. So we didn't do any of the Indian Ocean, which I wanted to, but just wasn't in the cards. I heard from multiple sailors that had sailed around the world that like the Pacific is just, and it was supposed to be like a 2-3 year trip around the world, and it was just like I just kept like find a spot, and like there'd be manta rays come up to the boat every day, and I would just, why would we leave here? Like, why? I don't care to sail. Like, I do care. It would be cool to sail around the world, but I'm like, I'm not leaving this. This is so sick. There'd be like waves pumping, and I'm like, I'm not just on a mission to sail around the world just to say I did it. Like, I'm just out here to surf, and so we spent like the whole time in the Pacific because it is the best from what I've heard. Like, I'm sure there's places like Madagascar and all those, but like the Pacific, the people are so friendly, and the culture's so nice, like, but we didn't spend enough time I think like the Tuamotus is good. And that's Polynesia. That's in between like what does it go? Like
It's north of Tahiti, right?
yeah.
French
Yeah.
Polynesia.
It's
Yeah.
French Polynesia and they call it oh my gosh, like Fatu and stuff. That's one group and that's the mountainous group. Then those are atolls. But you know what? Like they're kind of shitty to hang out at, right? Because there's just a flat like
There's nothing there.
there's nothing there. There's not a mountain to climb. There's not a waterfall. There's just an atoll. So if you're a diver, yeah, sick. Like the passes and the reef structure is insane. Like I don't think there's anything comparable other than like the atolls up north, like up in Micronesia and or like Kwajalein and north of there. They're good. They're wild. But Paul, that South Pacific's it's better. Those Tuamotus Islands are they're the reef is from what my recollection, the reef was more beautiful and stuff. But there's Ciguatera too, right? So you're not shooting snapper, you're not shooting trout. You're just going, yeah. So maybe.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I forgot about that. How did you know about what species in Ciguatera in certain areas? Did you just research it ahead of time, or?
Locals, yeah, locals. We had a there's a crazy story. A friend there from New Zealand, and he goes and blasts a big coral trout. Right? He's like, they all eat it. They had a little kid on board. His wife was breastfeeding. This was before we had a kid, and he had like people would come on his boat and like pay $10 a day or whatever, right? Just to like do the adventure with him. And then they all ate this fish and all got Ciguatera and just like destroyed. Like cause he's like, oh, like this is the best fish to shoot in New Zealand but just goes and nukes a big coral trout and then they all eat it. Like those are the worst ones, right? Those are the red snapper. Yeah. And, yeah, I felt bad because she had to stop breastfeeding. She had to because for the kid and like they had to find like some milk. What is it called?
Formula.
Yeah, which is hard.
Formula. Yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere.
yeah. So like some other sailors were coming from a more popular place, and sailors can all help. There's lots of people out there when they're when you're in the crossing season, so there's lots of help to get formula to her. But yeah, it was pretty wild. It was pretty scary for sure. Like,
what side effects? What do they have? Because have you ever had SIG?
I never had SIG. I had, I believe, mercury poisoning, or some kind of poisoning for sure, and it was just from so much fish, just eating so much fish. And, yeah.
I'm laughing because I totally understand. Like with tuna, I remember when I was in Guam, my wife was like, "What is your mercury levels at?" Because we were just slaying the doggies and everything. And I'm like, it's a really good point. Like I was looking at the proportion, recommended proportion of fish, and it's like, well, we've blown that out of the water. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like
it was in Costa Rica,
too, right?
Yeah, it was in Costa Rica where it happened, and we were catching lots of fish just by line. Those dirty mackerels that like patrol the polluted coast, like in the rivers and stuff. They're good to eat. They're super tasty and nice. And I just had some, like everyone else had the same fish. Then one day I just got like destroyed by this fish. And I was like, maybe it's food poisoning, but everyone else ate that fish too. Right. But they had been on, like friends came down for a week and they weren't, eating half a mahi every 2 days kind of thing, or half a mackerel. And I'm just like huge chunks, like breakfast, lunch, dinner. And then, and then I tried to have some again and same thing, just thrown up and sick and tired. And then, how, I don't even know. I just kind of stopped eating fish for a bit, like limited the portions. And then, I remember talking to this, Liz Clark. She was
Lizzie Clark, travel and surfing.
Yeah.
Sailing and surfing.
So we were surfing with her in Polynesia and like just talking. We started hanging, like just friends, and she was telling me how she got mercury poisoning and telling me the symptoms in Costa Rica, like same spot, you know. And I was like, that is, it must have been what I had. Like, there's no way. Yeah. And yeah, so that's the only reason I really figured out what it was. I knew something was wrong. So I just stayed away from fish for a while. But from then on, I kind of limited the portions for sure. Still, like, was not just crushing. It's hard when you shoot a nice yellowfin or a doggy or something, but it was more just the art of giving it away after that. Like, you know, just take a big bucket around the anchorage and take whatever fillets you want. That was kind of how you got rid of it.
It's available, right? Like the best seafood in the world right there. What was your favorite? Did you ever eat large, what is it, giant clam?
No. Yeah. Okay, sorry. The best places. Oh, sorry, you wanted me to. I was like,
no, go ahead. Yeah, the best places, right?
Yeah, memorable spots I wrote. Okay. So, yeah, the Tuamotus. Like, obviously, this one place called Aurora. That's where Kon-Tiki crashed. You know the Kon-Tiki story? Where those guys took that. They wanted to prove that the Polynesians could be from. Yeah.
From Hawaii?
That from Peru or from Chile, from South America.
Oh, no, I don't know that.
It's a good story. It's like this guy, Thor Heldeberg, like I think he's Norwegian or something, was like, he's trying to prove that like he's found like spears and like rock like tools that are from South America in Polynesia, saying like the Polynesians probably came from South America, not from Asia. Like, you're going to go downwind, right? You're not going to, like, these vessels weren't like, so like he did it. He like banded, it's a good movie too. He banded up a bunch of trees or bamboo or something from South America and then just like floated straight across and ran straight into an atoll. And like, and we went to the place where they saved him because it was a pretty long time ago, right? Would have definitely before any electronics or something. Like, the guys just like, what, they didn't have any. I think they had a bit of a sail or something, but yeah, they just ran straight into this atoll and smashed up and got saved on this island. There's a plaque there and stuff. It's cool. We didn't really know about it, but the dot. Yeah, but the pass dive there is next level, like shallow, so it's real fast, and then it just like falls off from like maybe 30, 40 feet into this big like, and it's called a waterfall, like as the current goes down, and then and there's just sharks everywhere. It's just so full of life, that Tuamotus. And then obviously Micronesia is so good, but like up north of Kwajalein, there's a place called, there's like 3 atolls, Alingale, Rongelap, Rongerik, and those places there. Yeah. No one's ever lived there because they tested the nuclear bomb, right? Bikini Atoll. And then
right. Is that where it's at is that where it's at, the Bikini Atoll?
Yeah. It's like 20 miles from there. And so like all the radiation fallout landed, like, it's not even funny. Like, it's like, and just, yeah, you cannot live there. You still cannot live there. It's tainted the water source, I think, like the groundwater. And yeah, so obviously the fishing is so good, right?
Yeah, I wanted to take a boat there. No, I wanted to take a boat there. That was Bikini Atoll was another spot because I know that they had the fallout. They closed it off. Then they like said, "Oh, it's good to go." They tried to open it back. I was like, "No." And I was like, that place has to be crawling with so much fish because, and they're all nuked out. So they're massive, probably like Godzilla or something.
Well, that video I sent you there, that's from that area, right? Like that.
Yeah.
I'm just so bad at making videos. Yeah. So I didn't really take off on being a YouTube sailor kind of, like, or any kind of spear. I have probably so much footage, just like every other Spearo. And I kind of didn't dive with a GoPro too much. I found every time I dove with a GoPro, something bad would happen. So I was kind of like, I kind of just like stopped. I was like, I wish I didn't, because like some of the like stuff I wish I had on film, like doggies coming to almost bite you. Like when you got those throw flashers, like I always had throw flashers. And like
Uh-huh.
one time, like what a dog, like a huge doggy, like it was in a protected area, which is good. So I respected it. I was just diving it, but like it came and was trying to bite it out of my hand almost. Like it was scary. Like huge,
How
like
big was
like
it?
150. Oh, it was huge. Like it was as big as the big, like would have been well over 100 pounds, 100. And I didn't have a camera. I don't know why. Like
Did you
it was
notice
like
like certain times of the year for that too? Like when did you notice any correlation with the bigger dogs? Because I've talked to people
I
and they say they have, but
yeah, I wasn't. It was so seasonal. This you had to be out of those areas, right? So I never was like hanging around for years in the same spot,
oh, that makes sense.
right?
Yeah, that makes sense. You said it was protected. What is there like a giant
It
is there a giant sanctuary for these places or what?
is a place called Pohnpei. I'm sure you've probably been there.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah,
I haven't been there,
and
but yeah.
and it was Ant Atoll, so the atoll right off it, and it's got this wild pass. It's so good. It's so good, and you can spear on the outside of it, like the drop offs, like, but you cannot fish the pass, which is good. Like you gotta, yeah. And there's a reason it's sweet, and so like that place is magical. Like it's wild. Like the locals are cool, and then and if you look at it, like Google Earth, that pass, it just wraps like it'd be 2 feet deep, like the edge of the pass, and then it's like just a straight wall, like 80-foot coral
Oh yeah,
wall,
that's
and
definitely another one of those bucket list trips to go surf P Pass. And then if
yeah,
surf sucks, we could just dive this world class spot, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
P-Pass fires. It's hard. It's a hard wave to surf.
Is
It's
it?
not an easy. Yeah,
I heard the
yeah,
takeoff, depending on how it is actually pretty easy. Kind of glide into it.
yeah. And then it just fucking cranks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We never scored it. It is what it is, right? Like it was just windy and not. I don't.
It's
I don't think it
fickle.
goes off too much. Yeah, it's a fickle
No,
one.
it's very
Like it's good.
fickle. Well, it's typical
Yeah,
Micronesia, right? Where it's
yeah,
like windy. Um, it's just you got to
yeah,
go. Everybody said the same thing. You got to go when there's a swell, otherwise you're going there and good luck. Like, you know.
yeah. And like it's far from where you stay. It's like a mission. It's like if you're gonna go on a surf trip, just go to Indonesia. Like there's no point. Like if you want to go for 2 weeks and score, like just go to like the
Indo.
Ments or go. Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
just so many waves, and it's just like no, there's no wind, and you get that perfect Indian Ocean swell, and it just cranks. Like even if there's a lot of guys out, there's just so many waves that it doesn't really matter. Like you're all just having a good time together, right?
I think those
So
waves too can make an average surfer look great and a
yeah,
great surfer
you
look world class, you know.
yeah, you just got to have a set of balls to like drop in, and then but it's easy. Like I'm a horrible surfer, like but I just wasn't really scared of
So
like taking off on big stuff.
yeah, I was gonna say. So it's so funny you say that because I had a friend, Kyle in Guam. I don't know if you met Kyle, but he was like, "Yeah." I go, "Do you realize with surfing these waves?" He's from Texas. As like, um, number one, like we were talking about before, you're going. Like, if you're going, there's no pulling out. So you're either
Yeah,
gonna go or you're not. So just fucking go. Who cares? All you're doing is making a drop and pulling
yeah,
in. So you don't
yeah,
have to be a good surfer. Like I've never busted an air and fucking stuck it in my life, right? But he's like, "Oh, you're so." I'm like, "Yeah, but I've been doing it my whole life surfing, and I act like I'm 18. I don't give a fuck," which has led
yeah.
to some very great experiences and some very bad experiences. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But at the end of it, it's like, fuck it. Whatever. I'm still going to keep doing it. Like my wife gets so mad at me when I was telling her, I was like, I was by myself and it's so shallow, it's dry in some spots.
Oh yeah,
But I thought Micronesia was the shallowest place I've ever surfed in my life. Just is so shallow, even compared to Tahiti. Um, but yeah, I think that's the key to it. Like you're gonna go, like all you gotta do is make the drop, and then you
Yeah,
just just fucking go. I
and
remember I
paddle. You
think
gotta paddle. Like
yeah
learn how to paddle fast. Like don't
yeah
you need to be a strong like in those areas where it's sucking you back. You're like going reverse, and you're like, oh, you just
uh-huh.
know you're yeah
I remember like
you're gonna
trying
get
to air
destroyed.
yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
trying to stick the landing, like airdropping in the barrel, because well, what choice do you have? You don't have a choice. Like you're going, and I mistimed this. Well, I gotta try to stick it somewhat to
Oh yeah,
limit,
yeah.
like hitting the. I mean, those limestone reef just shreds you.
Oh yeah. You
But
just scramble like yeah.
yeah, it's like the whole like you're going. So
Yeah.
you've already made the decision when you first start paddling. Just go, dude. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's funny. I always thought it was better to have a shorter, like a fattier, like board, kind of like a fish almost.
Oh yeah.
Just because a longer board gets caught up in that shape of the wave, because the wave will be like 4 feet, but like so powerful and so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. You get a long one, you just nosedive all the time for sure. And then yeah. Yeah, I like volume too. You need volume because then you can paddle
yeah,
fast, right? Like if you
right.
can't paddle fast. Like and yeah, you'd watch the pros and stuff, like the really good guys in Indo, and like you see how fast they paddle, right? And they're just like little skinny guys, and they just do circles around you, right? And,
Uh huh.
and then they can take off on anything too, right? Because they're like get picked up by the wave way faster and stuff than like a big. I'm like not too heavy, but I would like definitely like 180, 190 pounds. So definitely not like a little thin, nimble surfer.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's surfers is like gymnast almost, but
yeah,
skinnier.
yeah,
I remember when
yeah,
I worked at a surf shop and I met like some like the Hobgoods and a couple other guys, and
right,
I was like, "Hey," and I'm just towering over them, and
yeah,
I didn't realize that's why they're so quick to their feet. They're so quick with their movements because they're just
yeah,
like light 135, 140,
yeah,
and I'm 230.
yeah,
225.
yeah,
Like that's great, be powerful, but you're also 6'3", and it takes time to get like you need to give yourself every advantage you can. And part of that is like your mindset of just fucking going. And if
yeah,
you eat shit,
yeah,
at least the bottom line is you get respect. Like
yeah. Oh
otherwise,
yeah,
that
you
is
got
if you pull back, like those locals aren't going to give you a wave. Like
no.
yeah, no,
Oh yeah, I
you
remember
know.
being such a kook, like Western Australia, like showing up to these like cranking point breaks. I just sit on the shoulder, right, and like watch. I just kind of watch these guys, and then they'd call you over as long as you didn't show up with four guys. They're more than willing to like bring some kook from Canada and like, and I'd always it was funny because I'd always be so excited, right? I'd be cheering them on, like and like surfers are such dicks, like this too
Oh yeah,
cool, right? And I was like, that was so sick. I'm cheering, like claiming it for them, right? And then most guys warm up to you, right? You'd be so excited, like. And then I remember in WA, like, buddy's like, come here, like, sit here, like, get one. And you had to go, and I just got destroyed at the bluff. It was big too, and but I still like dropped in. But you gotta know how to like pump like fast, like
stay
you're
high.
not just like stay high, whack whack, like two big pumps, get speed to get through those barrels. And I would definitely get barreled all the time. I just wouldn't get out, like just like
The vision of the almond just getting farther and farther away. And then
and then
like I
just
think it's with that spot you're
boom.
talking about, the fucking shelf comes right up. So once you get stuck inside, you're
Oh yeah.
fucked. You know, like you're
Just
fucked. You got a front row seat to watch everybody else get pitted as you're getting raked
yeah.
across the, bluff.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Because some of those spots are so sick too, right? Like you jump in this keyhole and it just sucks you right out the lineup. Like I remember what it's called Jake's Point in Calgary, and I was out there and I seen this guy just jump in the keyhole, get sucked out. Like no, after the set came, so probably the three waves. And then this guy is like, his hair was still dry, just gets the biggest barrel, like, and that's so sick. There, it's right. You can watch these guys. It's breaking. It's kind of like Snapper Rocks in a sense. Like, it's like right, or what's that one in like Sydney area? It's
Oh
these
yeah,
guys get
ours.
barrels. Yeah, or
The right,
you could
yeah,
like
ours, yeah.
yeah, you could almost like give them a high five like on the wave. Like you can stand right there,
Fuck.
and like and the rocks are right there too. But these guys are locals; they just know exactly where to go. And like this guy, his hair wasn't even wet; just got like a cranking barrel, just comes back out, flicks off, grabs his board, and just paddles back out, like, and just like clockwork. I was like, that was the best wave I've, yeah, you would just do it all the time. It was good. I got to see definitely some cool waves. I was obviously put myself in those situations, like, let's go to that surf break. Let's go to that surf break. And some guys would tell you. But yeah, that the Western Australia is good, like super good for. It's
Aussies are
Indonesia, but
fearless, man. I love their
yeah,
mindset. They don't give a fuck.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty
They're like
epic.
these are like all farmers and miners too, like up in that. So they're just sick, right? Yeah, yeah. And fishermen like create old like salty dogs, right? And you're just like you're just so stoked, like. And I was a kook too, right? I had these like weird wetsuit, like I wasn't. Just like some shitty wetsuit from South Africa, like had some weird stripe on it. It wasn't like a Hurley, and they kind of treated you good, right? Like you're just some guy just getting after it. Like I'm so excited. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
almost
good.
you're just a non-threat, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. You're
yeah.
not like a pack of Brazilians showing up and
Ah,
you
fuck.
know
Yeah.
taking all the
No.
waves.
Yeah. Just coming right up, just one after another. Yeah. Fucking
So good,
dude.
like so good.
Yeah. Little gymnast, all of them. So what would you say was most memorable places or events or something? Any shark stories? We talked about the
Yeah,
one.
pretty good shark story in the Galapagos. It was due to surfing tour. We anchored at this Isla Isabella. There's lots of sharks in the Galapagos, like, and you're not really allowed to just take your dinghy out. You obviously can't spear. You obviously can't. But it's like so good, right? All the blue-footed boobies are everywhere, and the penguins, and they're all over your sea lions, all over your boat, and or seals. Like it's so full of life. Just to dive under the boat, and like there's just seals everywhere, penguins, and yeah, it's on. I also bought some crazy like LED light from AliExpress, and it was like straight from China. It was like for squid fishing. Dude, this thing would pull like 30 amps, like on a 12. Like it was awesome. It almost melted itself out of the water. It was so bright. So I'd take that, and I had a long cord, and it was awesome, right? Because it was like white sand, and I'd just have that thing under the boat, and it would just light up the boat, and we'd just all the krill would come, and then this would come, and then there'd be sharks circling around. Everything would. So I'd do that in like all the anchorages, and we'd all have dinner parties. But that place in the Galapagos, there's a good surf wave. So we went out at like 5 in the morning, me and my buddy once, and it was a cranking right, like point break. And we'd heard about the spot. We knew about it. And then luckily all stars aligned. It was just perfect, no wind. So we took off before the port captain could like really see, like in the dark, because they don't like that. They don't like dinghies flying around. They wanted you to use, which is fine, but no one's getting up at 5. So we do it, and some locals hear about it, and they're like, "Oh, I want to go out. Let's do it tomorrow." So we'd known there was a shark attack there, and a couple of years ago or something, we heard about it. And then this guy is like, and it's sharky because there's all the seals, there's big tigers, there's everything. It's kind of dirty. And so we're in the water that day. And then the dinghy's out back, right? You always got to anchor your dinghy behind the surf waves. And I'm with this guy from Western Australia, and he's a good surfer. And we're in the lineup, like getting waves. And we like look over, and there's just like a huge fin and like a huge tail fin. Right away it's a huge shark. You can just tell the distance between, the dorsal and the tail fin. And he's like, fuck. And it's in between us and the dinghy. And you know what I mean? And he's worried, and he's from WA. And I'm like, and he's like, okay, let's stick together and we'll paddle this calm in, right? Just like knock your board and just kind of make it so you're not a seal, right? Like you kind of tap your board sometimes. I don't know. That was his And we got there. It was fine. We got back. We were spooked too. Then this local wants to go out the next day. And we're like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, So he's like, let's do it. Let's do it. It'll be fine. So he shows up and his brother drops him off. And his brother's the one that got attacked by the shark like 2 years ago. And he's got no meat on his leg. Like he got smoked by a tiger right there in that spot. So, and then we're at like 5 a.m. We're like, fuck, we're not going out. He's like, I'll surf. I'm like, whatever, we'll take him out. So we go out. On the way out, there's just this massive tiger shark, like just on the surface. Didn't even get spooked. Like it was just like sleeping there, and it wasn't far. And have you seen them close up? Like their lines? How, oh my God, are they scary? Like their lines are perfect, right? Like when they're not too huge, their lines it's kind of like a wahoo line. Like they're scary, man. And you just know the stories and I'm like, dude, you are not surfing. Like, we just rolled up to this thing, 30 horse 2-stroke, just that, and it didn't even move. Wasn't even spooked at all. We were just like, I bet we were 5 feet from it. Just drove by this thing. And I was maybe 10 feet. 12. Yeah. It was huge. The size of a dinghy. Definitely bigger, 10, 12 feet.
And this is in Galapagos?
Yeah, Galapagos, yeah. Yeah, it's good. I knew I didn't surf. I was like, we got lucky that one day. We didn't get it. Scored huge, sick waves. Got back in and just was like, yeah, Galapagos it's wild. It's cool.
What kind of sharks are there? Is it, how's the water? Because it's kind of isn't cooler water from the updwellings? And there's tigers.
Yeah, tigers. There was a tiger. Yeah, there's tigers there. It's got everything there, right? It's that cold current comes from South America and just whips up. I don't know what that's called. That's a cool current because like Panama will be really clear diving the Pacific coast. One day I remember like it was so clear and I was just shooting snapper and having a great time. And then the next day it was like 15 degrees colder, it felt like, and you couldn't see a thing. So like that current comes and close. That's what gives that coast so much life, and so much feeding. Like that whole, like I heard the one podcast you're talking about. We all know that, or I know where it is, like south of there. And yeah, it's loaded. Like all those islands. Like we were in Panama for a long time. Good surf, probably 6 months on the Pacific side, in between Panama and like,
wow,
it is good. It's wicked diving, wicked surfing. It's hard on a boat though. It's lots of surf landings, right on a dinghy, lots of swim-ins. Like, you know what I mean? It's not the Caribbean where you're just like Sandblast Islands or those places where it's so like made for sailing, right? You can just rip up your dinghy on the beach.
Yeah, it doesn't seem, on the Pacific side, there's just not, you don't have that protection. So let's talk about that, because I didn't realize you spent time down there. As far as Latin America, how was the spearing in Panama at Hannibal Bank or wherever it was there? Or?
Yeah, I wanted to go, but you need to, like, that's kind of protected. Like you need to, you can't just go out by yourself there. I think you could, but it's a mission. That's pretty far out. The stars didn't align for that, and I wasn't that good then. I didn't have all the big stuff, and you know what I mean. There was kind of like, it would have been shooting rhinos with a 22. Like I didn't have the arsenal by then, and I didn't have the knowledge, and I was by myself, and you kind of need a group for big, I think, things like that. You need to have all the chum. You need to have all. Yeah, it was funny. I never really. I like when you talk about like the charters, like, they'll put you on fish, and I wasn't really into it's always there's so much anxiety in when you're shooting big fish. Like I kind of don't enjoy it as much. Even chasing doggies, I stopped enjoying it in a sense because it's just scary. Like, and you're gonna get killed. Like doing that by yourself, you will die. Like something bad's gonna happen. So like I kind of just always like dropping and hunting reef fish and like hunting permits, and like those ones are fun, right? Those fish are just fun to, you know, you got to trick them. You kind of got to like go down, set a burley trap, let them like, you know, swim away for 10 minutes and come back. And
Yeah, I think it's the
yeah,
difference of like reef hunting and then like real kind of blue water. Um, it's like my buddy said it best. He was like, it's like being in a football game versus like spearfishing is like supposed to be zen, snorkeling with a spear gun basically, and enjoy it. The other side is like, let's fucking go, you know? And you're like, Dad, fuck, man. Like, yeah, it's great to get that big fish and kind of like meet those wickets of personal goals and stuff. But I feel more of a sense of accomplishment of diving on the bottom, tricking a fish. Like it gets technical, like in Guam, we
yeah,
were doing a lot of that. Um,
yeah,
because yeah, if you're shooting big fish, man, you need a chase boat. You got to have a team, you
yeah.
know, because like so many times in videos, like you come up from shooting a doggy because you've been trying to like whatever it is, you come up if you're diving deep, and there's so much friggin' stress from everywhere. And a lot of times you're
Oh,
trying to fight the fish or dealing with it a little bit
yeah.
underwater before you even come up to try to stop it. And my buddy, he had a loss of motor control, and he's just like, ugh, ugh. And you can see it. And
Mm,
there's like, again, there's three dudes around. One guy grabs the float, another guy's watching for sharks. The other buddy just grabs them. But like literally, it's a team thing. So when you shoot those big fish,
yeah.
we said this a lot. Like I was with a buddy who shot like a, you know, these big bluefin here, and it really does take a team to kind of like make it more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just it's exhausting and stressful. And then I feel like when you do the charter thing too, like you're saying, you pay money and now you have expectations, and you're paying much money and you have a little window of time, and so then the stress and the pressure. And I noticed this when I was in Guam because I would be there for like 3 and 4 months. Towards the end of the trip, my big dog that I shot for me, uh, that was like the last time spearfishing before I had to leave and get ready to go. And just the
Lucky.
stress leading up to that didn't like, I got lucky, but it was like the pressure, you know? And I
Yeah.
made some selfish things that I did, like things where it was like I was overly aggressive, I would say. Then I usually wouldn't do what I wouldn't be because I felt that clock was ticking, you know?
Hmm.
And I can't imagine
Yeah.
if I paid 3 grand or four
Yeah.
grand
You're,
and then, oh, you got 2 weeks to do this. Like, man, I
yeah.
really do enjoy the culture. I enjoy slowing down and just checking everything out. But really,
Yeah.
yeah, it's too much. And I think that's why kind of mixing the surfing with the diving, you can't really get skunked if you can, you know, one's good, the other's probably bad, or one's
Yeah.
good, you know, like there's always something to do.
Yeah. You're taking a board anyway, so you just throw your gun in it and whatever, right?
Yeah.
You might not have it. Yeah.
What size? You go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Or
You said
Tonga was
Tonga.
good. Yeah. Tonga's,
Ratonga or Tonga?
no, Tonga. Like,
Yeah.
I wrote that down. Like, Tonga was like, by then I was like into it. And then there was like that, Andre, and he was on a boat. So we met up, like, it was random again. Like, we didn't, not by chance, but I was like, man, and he didn't even remember me, but it's fine. I was like, but again, I ran into some guys that were like super good divers, like way better, right, than me. But I was just keen, and I had a good dinghy, and their dinghy was always like kind of shitty, and like we'd just go out. By then, I was like, you know, had all the flashers, and I wrote down actually some funny things about flashers, like how many different flashers I went through, and like all these different things. And then finally found the Coatsman video, and you know that video where he's
The buzz
got,
bomb
eh, yeah,
where
the
he
buzz
makes
bomb,
the.
and
I've got like three of them in my garage, and
yeah,
none of the fish
the
out here
wine,
give a shit about them. Yeah, with the wine
the the wine bags, yeah,
or the heat blanket, like the silver.
yeah,
And then I
yeah.
made a bunch of those.
They don't care. Yeah,
Here
that's
it's
like
different,
crystal
you
clear.
know.
You need clean water for the flashers, right?
You
But
do,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you can't. But it was funny. Like, we didn't know. One time, me and my buddy go out. We just like we thought the flasher like we'd like set it like a fad, you know, and we just like left it out there, like tied it to the reef. We're like, there's gonna be tons of fish around there when we go back. Like, we had no idea. We were in spearfishing really. I could shoot snapper. I knew that, but I'd never shot anything huge, like pelagic wise. And we're like, we heard there's doggies in this pass. We just go like tie this. Like, that's not how a flasher works, right? Like a flasher works where
You got to
they
work
think
it.
it's something. Got to work it. And
Sometimes it's nice with a little bit of surf because it'll just do that motion for you,
yeah,
right? And you get that
yeah,
thing look like a squid.
for
And then
sure.
you got your throw
Yeah,
flashers.
in Tonga, I knew this pass was good, and we just sailed to this place, and all our friends were there, and they were having a big party. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go check this pass, right? Like, and it was golden hour. It was like 5 o'clock at night. Like, I just dinghied out. It was just gonna be a quick like scout mission, and I had pretty well-oiled machine by then. I like would dinghy up the current, lift your outboard up, so was nothing would get, you couldn't hit it. So it's just like the bottom of the boat. Like you wanted, yeah, you start to learn everything's going to get tangled up fast. Like, you know, like so lift the outboard up. The flasher was all untangled. I'd throw the flasher out the front, and then I just dive off, like, you know, scuba dive back, and then have a breathe up even ready. Like I'd be breathed up ready, just so, because it's right away. Usually those doggies come hit, right? Like if they're going to come check you out fast. That's what I figured out. Like, it's not time in the water. If they're there, they're going to steam at you right away, usually. Like, and then they'll just disappear, or they'll go on their little adventure and come back an hour later or something. I don't even know what they do, but yeah, they seem to like do a tour of the reef, then they come back. And this one, I was gone for like 20 minutes from the boat, and I landed a sick doggy by myself. Like, it was my first big one for sure. And I was just by myself, just digging up this current in Tonga. Like, Tonga's good, right? It's known for throw this flasher out in the Hup High group. That's where they used to go, all those guys. And this thing, I was already breathed up, and this doggy just steams at me, like straight at the flasher. And you almost have to pull your gun back, and just like plugged it and got a good shot. And just, I remember just seeing my dinghy just getting towed away. Like, it was so sick. And I'm coming up, so I'm just like grab the float line. Just the dinghy just got brought straight to me, and then just jumped in. And that was the best thing to fight a fish. You just jump in your boat and fucking pull it up. You know what I mean? It was perfect. If anything, it was like easier than, yeah, it was good. Like, I had that so dialed at the end. I could land doggies by myself. It was sick all the time. Like, no.
Do you have video of that? That would be spectacular. Just like in the bow of the boat.
I don't have video. It's crazy. Like, all this is just memories. Yeah, like, it's great. Another good vision was like this guy. We were up in Rongelap, and I'll gladly tell spots, because if you make it there, you know what I mean. Like, you've done the mission to get there, and it's hard. Like, not everyone can get there, so it's like there's doggies there. There's no secret. If there's a pass in Micronesia, there's a fucking dogtooth there. It might not be.
Right, that's what I always say. Here's a little secret for you. There's fish in the Pacific Ocean, and they're located in these regions. Like, okay,
yeah, good luck getting there. Like, if you make it there, here's the exact spot. I'll tell you. Yeah, it's just a mission. Even if you have a boat and you're a well-sailed, oiled machine, it just sucks. Like, there's nothing else there. There's no fresh fruit. You're not going to have fresh fruit. You're not going to have shit, because it just took you a month and a half to get there. And I will gladly tell you the spots to go shoot a dogtooth if you email me. You know what I mean? Like, you just like, well, me and my buddy, I'm like, there'll be dogtooth here. So we plan it. And it was hard on the dinghy, because a lot of people would want to come spearing with you, right? Like other sailors, but you don't want them. Like, you can't. Like, you got so much shit. And you got a little dinghy, and you can't take 4 people and and do pass dives, right? Like, by the end, I was just do it by myself. I get 15 pass dives in, and I know it's dangerous, but like no one else is there. Like it is what it is. No one else likes to, not everyone likes to go get swept out by a current in deep blue water. And like, you know what I mean? It's not that fun of spearfishing if you're not shooting big stuff.
Yeah,
And,
how are you doing the pass dives or the drift dives basically? You said you're anchoring and then jump in and then you're gone, right? So how are you doing
no,
it?
you do it with your dinghy. You just like, your dinghy's your float.
Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you just dinghy, you have your 100-foot float line or whatever on the end of your gun. And you just usually kind of got to keep your dinghy with you. So you don't, because your dinghy, if it's windy, it'll travel at different speeds than you are. So it's not the best, right? It's obviously like, it'd be better to have a float, but you don't have a team and you didn't spend 10 grand to get there. So you could just do it by yourself whenever you want. Like go out in the morning. Yeah, I'd always just like, you'd go at the gold, like perfect times. Like you'd go early in the morning, go sleep or hang out with the family during the day and do stuff. And then 4 o'clock rolls around, you just load up that dinghy, and 4:30, there's no point in going early. You're not going to see anything. Like you're not going to see a doggy in the middle of the day. They come up at night. They come up the top. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
incoming tide,
And
nighttime.
yeah, you're going to
So
see,
if
that's when
you,
you're going to see them.
I mean, if you fuck that up, that boat's gone. You're
Oh
swimming.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. You don't fuck it
yeah.
up. Like, yeah, just so I wouldn't be talking to you if I fucked it up, I guess. Right. Like
Right. I
in,
get
is
you'd be
that
swimming still.
up in like Rongelap or Rongerik, me and this Kiwi go out, just me and him, and it's pretty far. It's like 5 miles to the pass, so it's a big dinghy, right? From a good anchorage, right? You can't just anchor wherever you want on a sailboat if it's just like rough or shitty. So we dinghy down to this pass, and I'm like, there'll be doggies here. My buddy looks over, right? We're not, it takes a long time to set up, right? When you got those big guns and slip tips and fucking float lines, and you gotta set yourself up too. You gotta put all your dive shit on. So I'm like, there'll be doggies here. He looks over and there's like a dog tooth, like a big one, like pretty much gnawing at the propeller, like on the surface of the boat. Like it was so crazy. It was this thing was just following
What?
us, and I'm like, "Fuck!" And he's like, "Shoot it!" I was like, "You shoot that thing without everything set up, you're just gonna
You're
destroy.
gonna
Like it's
lose it.
gone.
Yeah.
Everything's gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no point. You got to have it all set up. Like I learned by then, I've lost so much shit. Like you just need to plug it. And so like multiple times, we like looking over, and we're all geared up. We're trying to be calm, right? You got to breathe up, and this thing's just following the dinghy, right? Like it was crazy. It was crazy. And then we do a few dives, don't see it for an hour, and then his fins were hurt. And he wasn't a diver, like he was getting into it, but he wasn't a spear fisherman. And he's like, "What do you?" Then he had to go in the boat because his feet were hurting so much. I'm like, "Let's do a couple more, right? Like it's got to be here. We didn't see it after we got in. Everything was gone." And he's like, had the flasher out, the same system I always did. We dinghy up the current, throw the flasher in, dive off, breathe up, and then just get swept out, right? And it's like a 10-minute, 15-minute little routine you did, back and forth, back and forth. And then he said it was like clockwork. I was just probably sitting at 40, 50 feet, right? And I would just sit there, get swept out by the current. And this doggy, he's like, he could see it because he was from the top looking down. He's like, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "Just put pressure on that fish. Like, don't let it hit the reef, right?
Right.
If I hit it." So this thing just comes right at me. I plug it, like good shot. Like it was right there. They're so easy to shoot when you know how
What are
to
you
dive.
aiming
And
for? Yeah, what are you aiming for? Like just the gill
they're
plate, the head?
yeah, gill
Yeah.
plate. Yeah, you want, because then you got more chance of turning it off. But you want to drown them. You want to that gill plate's a good hold, and then it stops. Then they can't breathe when you're putting pressure on it, right?
Right.
And that's like, I remember I read so much. That's how I met Michael. And I was just like, dudes, you guys are the doggy kings, right? And then he's from Canada too. He's from like Lethbridge. I
Uh-huh.
was like, dude, that's so random. Like that year, and he's a wicked guy, wealth of knowledge, and yeah. Then like my buddy's probably 220 pounds, like Kiwi strong. Like he like pulled up his anchor. and I plug it, and you could just see him like giving her on this thing. And there's sharks everywhere now too, right? Like, and I'm just swimming up, watching him get like towed away by this like dogtooth. It wasn't even that big, maybe 60 pounds, 70 pounds. I don't know. It was
Uh-huh.
big. Well, that's a good fish. And
Yeah, that's my best. I mean, that thing, I was humbled. Yeah. Oof.
and yeah, and then he's like pulling up. He couldn't even get anything on it. Like those float lines from Neptonics, like that stretch,
Yeah.
like the neoprene. Like it was so fucked up after because like he's
It hit the
pulling.
reef. Yeah.
Well, no, he was just like pulling that off, and like he couldn't get anything. Like it took a while to land that fish. Like, and he was giving her on it, and we got it in. It was awesome. It was like such a funny moment, right? Because I'm swimming up and I'm just seeing his hands like almost get, the sharks are everywhere, and he doesn't even really know. Like there's sharks like following this fish up and like gonna take his hand off. and,
Well, and people don't realize too, like that fucking line gets pencil thin when you're
oh yeah,
fighting that fit. Oh my God, it gets thin. Like, and you're like, dude, I gotta let this thing go. Like this thing's gonna,
yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah, yeah. Multiple times I got pulled around by a big dog tooth, and but we got that one in, and no shark bites or anything. It was a good day. That was definitely a good day. But then this thing's like in the boat, still alive, right? Just smashing us.
dude.
But what do you do, right? You can't kill it in the water in something like that. You can't. You don't have time. Like
Right, you gotta
there's
get out of the
so many
water.
sharks on you. You got to get out of the water. You got to get away. Even that's such a shark area. So many
Did you
sharks there.
notice when they make that first run, once you can start to get them up, the swim bladder, I've heard the swim
Yeah,
bladder's so big, they're done. But that first
yeah,
run is incredible. And the
yeah,
power,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
What a,
yeah. You got to keep on them.
what were you guys
Yeah.
using to shoot those? What kind of setups? What guns?
I luckily my uncle from like Saskatchewan, he's like a woodworker, and he wanted to buy us like scuba system, something like for the boat when we did it. And I said, I don't want scuba. I just like you can build guns, and I turned him on to the Neptonic website, and he built me these sweet like mid handle, like powerful, like teak guns. They're so sick. With like then everything was like the Maury shaft with slip tips and yeah, I had kitted up by then. So yeah, big, sweet guns. Well, they're not that long, but they're nice. They're sweet guns for sure. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's funny how those
he,
doggies will literally swim right up to you. My very
yeah,
first time with
yeah,
dogtooth was at the banks in Guam. We put the flasher in, and we're just getting ready, nonchalant. Hey, we're going to jump in. And
yeah,
Mike jumps in, and I remember he stood up because a fucking dog tooth on the flasher right now, and it's just like swimming around the boat, and it's like, oh, that's like that's a big dog, and it was just like, oh,
yeah,
this is what we're doing today, okay, and then he shoots it, the thing
yeah.
breaks his shit, like it's just, it was like that was our first introduction to doggies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
it's a
yeah, they'll
trip.
break if there's any weak point in anything, they're finding it. They will destroy everything. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
chaos. Yeah. And I remember my one buddy shot one. It is a French guy. And he was a wicked guy, like diver. And he like a pot, he had like a 2 liter pop bottle on his for a float. You know what I mean? And he's like, and I took him
yeah,
out to this pass. I'm like, there'll be big fish here. And he's like, dude, the spear just hit the fish and then fell out. Like, you know what I mean? He had like a one band little whatever JV summer. You know,
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
yeah, this thing
No,
just came right at me, and he plugs it. He said it just like turned and left like this thing, and he shot it. The spear didn't even go in. He must have hit the gill plate or something, right?
yeah,
He's like, and it just bounced off him and then just took off. Right? You need some jam and like some sharp spear. You need to have good kit if you're going to chase that. And I always like reading the contention of like Polynesians don't like to dive without a float, or they're such good divers, then they just lose the fish, right? Like it's bullshit. You got to have the right kit if you're going to try to like you need to set yourself up for success, or else you're just killing something, putting a rod in a fish, and yeah, like it's just going to go and die. And I never liked their theory of not having like I don't really care about hate mail, or I don't really care about those guys, but I don't know if they're going to shoot a fish and they're just doing it out of like bravado to not have a float line. well, this is stupid, right? You just killed a fish
100%.
and you almost
I
killed it.
agree with you
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, that's just
But,
fucking stupid.
yeah. Go shoot
Like,
a moose in Canada with a 22. Yeah, you fucking
yeah,
idiot.
okay. That's an asshole move. Yeah. Like, you know,
Yeah. And they
I mean,
like
that's what's so,
brag about that, like not having float lines.
I've run into that here too. And I was like, that's fucking foolish because now you've put everybody else around you that has to deal with this fucking thing that started. Maybe it, like, I don't know. It just seems immature. It seems very young and foolish. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it's a funny culture like that. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Sometimes,
listening.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was listening to who was the Kiwi you had on, and he was talking about like
Oh, Ollie
I don't know.
Craig.
I like your guys. Yeah, he was good. That was a good. That was funny. He's a funny guy. Same Kiwi because we
Yeah.
lived there for a while, and I speared all over there, like because we had a
Yeah.
sailboat and sweet dinghy, and I'd been out to. I never speared White Island, but we were close, and we'd speared big kingfish. I started. That was hard. The kingfisher. You got to learn. I didn't know, and I was pretty good by then. I was not good, but I knew how to shoot fish. Definitely had the kit, and I just couldn't get them. I was like, what? Like I was right beside them, huge ones, like, and then I would look at them or charge them like you do a doggy or something, and then they'd just be gone. And then I remember a diver out there when we were out at this bank. He's like, "Oh, you can't look at them. Swim directly away from them." As soon as he told me that, I like went down, saw them come in. Right, those kingfishers, sick to shoot, and then I just like you won't look at them, you just swim away, and like they just come around broadside. It was like someone just unlocked a secret. You know what I mean? I just started shooting them
Yeah.
like it was nothing. It was so funny. It was just like,
It's like they play hard to
yeah,
get. Like, I'm not really
yeah,
interested in you. And they're like, oh, come on. You want me. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, I
yeah,
don't. Boom. Done.
yeah. Perfect broadside. Like they just swim right, and you're just like, you're dead. Yeah, but they're just like a kid. They're just like a doggy. They just give you a world of trouble too.
Yeah,
Fucking,
they do.
hey.
Yeah, we got them here, man. They
Yeah.
just, I think the thing with yellowtails, they just never seem to run out of gas. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
the big ones, when you shoot them, it's like, here we go. Like, and then it's all great until you get to the shooting line, and then trying to get them up in the shooting line, you're like, God, dude, this thing's such a pain in the
Yeah.
ass. But they're pretty soft, like, and so you
Yeah.
can see sometimes it start to tear out, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. They're good
you
though.
know, Ollie was
Yeah, they
great.
were good.
Ollie was great. You should have heard us when we were not recording. It was even better. But
Yeah.
my wife doesn't want
Yeah.
to
Kiwis
embarrass
are
the
funny.
family. So yeah,
Kiwis are
yeah,
so funny, eh? Like they're just like they're clever and like they're good at like I worked in a shop there for a bit. And like the guys are such good tradesmen. Like and they're always building because they don't really have access to like America, right? It's like expensive shipping and like so they're just building their own jet boats and building their own boats and building their own flash. Like it's really big. It's just, like he said, it's like such an outdoor culture there. Like and it's so fun. Like everyone's into ripping up rivers or going out. There's always fishing. You're fishing all year too, right? Like it's such a wicked spot. Well, New Zealand
yeah.
is such a special spot. Getting scallops and getting like kingfish and it's never ending. Like
Right.
crayfish, like it's good.
It
Yeah.
just seems wild too. Seems like a wild place.
Well, it's
So
South Pacific Island, right? It is a South Pacific Island. Like, yeah, good. That's a good spot. We sold the boat in Japan. I was going to talk to you about this because that's like an untouched gem for you got to know people. Well, I guess you guys would go to Okinawa and stuff, so you'd know Spiros from there. But up from there is some of the scariest like water with the hugest shit you're ever going to see. Like I saw a barracuda in Japan that was like so huge. I can't even explain it. Like they only get so long, but the thing looked like a missile. Like it was so fat, so aggressive, and like I shot a sweet dogtooth there, and like this barracuda was just on me. Like I was getting it in, and biting it, and like the barracuda was bigger than the sharks. I don't know what kind of sharks they were, but they looked like bronze whalers or something. Like they weren't too aggressive. But yeah, Japan's cool if you know how to get there or know how to get a boat or I don't know what the regulations are, but some guys told
It's
me that
really super complicated. You got to be a
yeah,
part of the base of the mafia. No, you got to be a part of the co-ops, and there's a
yeah,
lot that goes into it, which is part of the reason why I think it's such a off the incredible place to fish. I had a guest on the show, Kumpe, I think his name was, and he was talking
yeah. I want to
about
listen to it.
pole spearing, 200-pound doggies, like that's his goal. But he shot a 50-pound coral trout there. I mean, he has the world record for a couple things, but again, it's a mission. Everything has great fish, but he literally camps out for months and
Yeah,
years and all this stuff like that.
it's good
But
diving there. Like,
yeah,
like what happened was they used to treat sailboats like big ships, so no sailboats would go there because they'd be like, you need to have a plan. You show up to Okinawa, you need to have a plan. Like, I will be in this port and only the main ports, which suck. This port, on this date, this time, which you can't do on a sailboat, right? Because like you got crazy, you can't like
you got to
the wind,
sail. So yeah,
yeah. And but like 2018 or something, what the first year we went there, I got so lucky that they just opened up. You go wherever you want, just come in, go wherever you want. And so we actually had a contract to sell the boat. Some guy wanted to buy the boat. I just, and so he flew down to Okinawa, did a little sea trial, showed him out. He's like, okay, bring it up to Osaka in 2 months and 3 months or something, this date, and we'll finish the paperwork. So we had like months to sail up to Osaka from Okinawa. And like, just Google Earth Japan. It's fucking sick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is little volcano islands everywhere, like, and little rocks. And that's where those guys shoot those huge doggies too, right? Like Brandon
yeah,
Whalers and all those guys.
yeah,
I've followed
yeah. He'll kill
that.
me
Like,
if we say the
gives
spot.
us yeah, you got to know how
I
to get
know it,
there.
but again, that's
And
another one of those things where I kind of said before, if you get there and get in the position to
yeah,
even do that, then you kind of earned it, because that is not
yeah,
something you just go and do. It
no,
takes
no,
years to like get.
yeah.
Yeah,
I shot a huge one there. I didn't get it in though. Sharks got it, and it is what it is. I stopped kind of shooting big ones, but it was like the last fish I actually shot, like from probably even till now, and I was like, that was fucking crazy. Like, it was just one. It's super currenty, super dark year. I
yeah,
was like 5-10 miles away from the boat by myself. It was not, and I just said, okay, enough of this. We had UC then. He was like a 1-year-old boy. I'm like, I don't need to be doing this anymore. Like, I kind of gave up on the big dog tooth after that. But it's nice to go see him. But you need to go out to these currents that are hitting this rock, and yeah, but it's
it's
scary.
super curreny. It's a lot of sharks. It's deep.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, yeah, and I mean, fortunately, it's deep, so you can keep those fish off the reef. But I got friends in Okinawa, and they shoot big dogs, and it's like not. I mean, it's all illegal. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
Like, for them, it's illegal, but other people, they're in the union, the fishing union. They've got contacts. They've spent years doing it, developing that. Um, but yeah, those fucking 200-pound doggies. Whew. I mean,
yep.
there's a lot of dogs. I mean, I'm sure. Did you ever see any what you think was about 200-pound doggies on your trips, other than that area?
That no, no. I
Yeah,
I also wasn't like, you maybe saw him way down there, but I wasn't diving 120 feet by myself. Like, you know what I mean?
right. Yeah,
Those big ones are at the bottom, like, of the
the,
pack. I've been schooled by doggy and stuff, and you
yeah.
see them. The big dogs are like, they're always on the outside, right? Like those underneath, and you just gotta, yeah. You'd have to be with a team of like super good dive. I was never really like, I could dive. I started to push probably like 100 feet and stuff, like in calm, nice areas, right? I don't really know because I didn't really, but everything was calm and chill, not getting swept out by a current, fucking scared, dingy, fucking inhaling two-stroke smoke and like just chaos, right? Like you just, when you're in that situation, you're not in like a calm, nice lagoon by your boat or, diving around. So I think I was going deep. I definitely was going like well over 80, 90 feet at one point for sure when I was diving
Yeah.
every day. You dive every day, 3 times a day, right? Like you're obviously
Right.
going
You
to
get
get
real
good.
flexible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've
Yeah.
noticed that too. But yeah, God, now I feel like my lungs and friggin' trachea would just collapse going anything remotely close to that, just everything's so
Yeah.
stiff. But when those guys were talking like they're diving 100 feet, shooting 200 pounders, and then, I mean, it's gnarly. My buddy has a video where there's a 25 pounder swimming with this fucking dog tooth that's probably 8 feet long. I mean, but it's again, every big massive one we meaning my buddies have seen. Um, they are on the bottom. They just swim through. They don't even care. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what I was wondering. Like, how do you even get them up or interested? And like, it's tough. I think that's part of it. It's like in the cooler water because you said they come up at night. Cooler water is key. I know that, but yeah, it's tough. And again,
Yeah. That's why
those
Japan's got
fish,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
those fish are a um, result of years of trying and scouting and everything. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gnarly.
It,
Yeah,
I don't know the exact spot they shot him, but I went to a couple and I could just tell. Like I remember seeing a giant trevally that was, and I'd seen so many trevally that it it was double the size of everything. It was fucking
yeah,
huge, like a GT there, like, and just stomped at me, and I was like, that would just take the boat, like everything would. Yeah, it was crazy. So I just knew I'm like these are the areas where they're cracking them, but you need a team. You need a team for sure,
yeah,
and they'd have a
for
team.
sure.
Like,
Right, they
yeah,
do. Of
yeah,
locals and yeah. I mean, that was
yeah,
the beautiful thing about when I would travel, I'd go somewhere for months. And so you end up making connections kind of like you. It's like you end up making connections and then
yeah,
you're all on the same page.
yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah,
you go through the gauntlet of all learning together as you fuck everything up and lose fish and sharks. And
yeah.
then you become like an expert because you've failed every single possible way, so you know what doesn't
Yeah.
work, what works, right? Well,
It's
Greg,
crazy
I
how,
want to
yeah.
go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, it's just crazy how obsessed you get, right? Like on them. Like I just
Yes.
got obsessed. Like, yeah, my partner Casey was just like, "You're. This is like, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? This isn't real life. Like, who cares about this dog tooth? Like I was fully obsessed with it. Like I was like, you dream about it. You dream about diving. You dream about like you did it so much. Like yeah, dude.
And then you just question everything you've done, and you're like, man, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if I didn't pull a trigger? Well, is it this that? And it is obsessive, but it's like it's so good to have that drive, like that mission.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
everything. Then
yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
I remember it was months where Mike and I and the boys we were like, only go to the banks. I don't even care about the reef. I just want to shoot a big dog. Like it was just. And then it kind of went, and then we went back and we're like, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so funny, man. It's such a weird addiction. We get the same thing here with bluefin. People are just like, I'm just going for a 200-pound bluefin. And it's like, man,
Yeah,
this is
totally.
fucking annoying. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
we would joke around about how we're cursing the fish on the way back in from we didn't get anything. By the time we get back to the dock, we're like, same time tomorrow, same thing. And we're like, fuck
Yeah,
this, I'm over
yeah,
this, I hate this. We're going back tomorrow. Yep, go back tomorrow. Like, yeah. So
yeah.
my last question is, if you could do it all over again with the choice of boat, would you stick with it or would you do anything different regarding the catamaran or the way you did the the vessel? I mean, anything different at all?
No, the cats are the best, 100%. Like I wasn't into the deep heavy weather sailing, but you live above the water, right? You're not in some deep monohull where you can't see, and like just the dinghy, like just coming up on the davits. Everything's just, you're not deflating your dinghy all the time and taking your engine off. Like cats are the best. Like, and you don't want to go too much bigger than 40, 45 feet. Or then it's just like they get 30 feet wide. You can't find a place to berth it when you got to go. You know what I mean? Like, there's not that many marinas set up for 30-foot beam boats. And like, so, and 40-foot cats they're plenty big enough. And that's what they kind of make now, 42-foot lagoons or whatever. If I had the money, I'd go like buy a flasher one, like those katanas, or like a bit better one, but I didn't have the money. So like
No,
my
that's
boat cost me like 172 US, right? I probably put 40 US into it to get it like up to snuff, like new sales, new this, and then sold it in Japan for 185 US 6 years later. So like those boats, once you buy them 10 years old, it's all just the condition that they're in. And so just buy one, fix it up, or buy one in good condition. Go buy one in the Caribbean, one of those charter boats. You can buy them pretty good. They keep them in good condition too, right? Like those charter ones are in good. Everyone bashes charter boats, but like every time they come back, they're rooted through and made sure no one wrecked it. So it's like they're not that bad. Like, how are you
no,
gonna wreck them?
that's really
So
good advice. Do you have social media at all?
yeah, oh yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's GRRR_Evans. So I was just like Gur Evans. Yeah, and then it's Gregory Evans on Facebook or whatever. Yeah,
Cool. So yeah, if anybody needs help with anything, I'll have them
yeah,
hit you up.
yeah.
That'd be great.
Spots or anything?
Even just
Okay.
with the sailing stuff too, all that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Boat stuff and advice on which engine's the best or which ones, or yeah, like which boats are notorious. Like you knew the bad boats, like those ones like from South Africa, like with the Volvo Penta engines. Like you just stay away from them. Like you're gonna get fucked. Like, and you'll be fucked in Polynesia, like where you're super. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. By
No, it's
Yanmar, like
beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
thank you
it's
so
good.
much, Greg. Again, man. Thank you for sharing your stories. And I loved, when we linked up in Guam, and I'm looking forward to linking up with you again sometime and doing some trips, man. Down,
Yeah,
you said Baja and all that stuff. So maybe we'll get
yeah,
some waves too. So
totally.
thank you, brother.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.